Breaking tonight, new revelations from the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton's email scandal, as major new questions arise about her private server and an alleged whopper she appears to have told about classified information. Let's start with the server. In March of this year, Mrs. Clinton claimed there was no issue in maintaining government emails on a private email server in her home in Chappaqua, New York, as this server, she said, was set up for former President Bill Clinton under the watch of the Secret Service. You know, there are big advantages to living with a former commander-in-chief. Listen.
The system we used was set up for President Clinton's office, and it had numerous safeguards. It was on property guarded by the Secret Service, and there were no security breaches. So I think that the use of that server, which started with my husband, certainly proved to be effective and secure.
But now it turns out her emails, that is, our emails, were not maintained by the State Department or on Bill Clinton's server, as she claimed, but were on an entirely different server, one established for her 2008 campaign, which was not disclosed. And it was reportedly set up and handled by staffers with limited training and then handed off to an outside company. On top of that, Mrs. Clinton has repeatedly maintained that there is nothing to this email scandal because she never dealt with classified information there. Period. End of report. Listen.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. So I'm certainly well aware of the classification requirements and did not send classified material.
There is no classified material. Well, then the news broke that two inspectors general for the intelligence community and state believe she did improperly maintain classified information. And what did she do in response to that allegation? She doubled down.
I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
I never sent classified information. And then a federal judge issued an order demanding that Mrs. Clinton tell her email story under oath. And guess what just happened? Late last night, Mrs. Clinton's team changed its story. Now it's no longer there was no classified information. Now it's Mrs. Clinton had no documents that were, quote, marked classified at the time. Joining me now, Robert Zimmerman, a Democratic National Committee member from New York, Clinton donor and co-founder of Zimmerman Eddles on Public Relations. Robert, good to see you.
Good to be with you, Megyn.
Come on.
Oh, Megyn, I've got a bigger blockbuster for you. I can't keep up
with all the iterations.
Megyn, I've got a bigger blockbuster for you. The Washington Post, Chris Cillizza, reported today, exclusively in the Washington Post, there is no investigation, there are no allegations of wrongdoing, and Hillary Clinton is not the subject of a probe because everything that she said then checked out now. And that's the real story here.
How does that explain the many stories I just took the audience through?
Because they're all consistent. In fact, the inspector generals are the one, according to Ed Henry's reporting on the Kelly file, the inspector general said there were no classified markings on the emails that she sent or received. It may have happened after the fact, but that doesn't change the truth that she wasn't sending or receiving emails.
As
far as the server...
But they're investigating to see whether classified information was in her possession and is on the server. And she's been telling us all along there is no classified information.
That's right.
Until she just changed it to, well, nothing was marked classified.
No, that's the point, though. How would she possibly know if it was classified if it wasn't marked that way? That's why the inspector generals made the point that there was no classified no information that was marked classified on her server. The bigger point here...
Somehow the inspectors general figured it out. How did they figure it out?
Well, they investigated it. Now, Megyn, also, when it comes to the server, the server was in the president's home.
The problem is, see, you can avoid all of this if you just do your emailing on the state.gov server, but she didn't do it. Now, with respect to the server, Megyn, Robert, she told us that this was going to be secured in the Chappaqua home. Not to worry. I am married to the former president. It's all set. The Secret Service is there. As it turns out, it was some dude named Justin Cooper who set up the server.
Who worked for the president. Who worked for the president.
Okay, no, he's not exactly a security expert, but he did help research 2 of President Clinton's books.
But Megan, you're forgetting the point that it was taken over.
And no expertise in safeguarding computers.
Megan, in April of 2009,
there he is.
A specialist for the State Department in intelligence IT took over the server and managed it. So it was secure and safe, and there were no breaches. Now, Megan, I've got a question for you. I assume you're going to ask Jeb Bush these same questions because as governor of Florida, he used a personal server to discuss security issues like nuclear power plants or troop deployment, and he took the server home with him and selectively released government emails.
Okay, you know what that sounds like to me? Look over here. Look how it's so shiny and pretty.
No, I think it's very analogous.
I mean, I'm talking to you about Hillary.
I'm trying to help you, Megan, with tomorrow night.
Why does the story keep changing? Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I know you have my best interest at heart.
Thank you.
I mean that sincerely. But why does the story keep changing? If you tell the truth right from the beginning, you don't have to worry about keeping your story consistent because you just keep telling the truth.
Megan, as the facts come out, it shows that Hillary Clinton was accurate, consistent, and correct. So ultimately, the real tragedy for Republicans is they have no story here. They're going to have to talk about issues. I know you'll make them do that tomorrow night.
Yes, you're right about that. Robert, so great to see you.
You too. I'll be cheering you on tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. All the best. Well, the pressure's on with less than 24 hours to go until tomorrow night's big debate in Cleveland. We will be into it. In fact, I think we're going to be taking our first break right around here at this time tomorrow night, so we'll be a full half an hour into the debate. And former White House Press Secretary Dana Perino is here with her advice to the candidates and the lessons they can learn from some of the historic stumbles and successes we've seen in debates of yesteryear. Plus, why did President Obama today compare Republicans to the terror-supporting hardliners within the Iranian regime? Remember the promises of hope and change? Charles Krauthammer is next with an answer.
Just because Iranian hardliners chant death to America does not mean that that's what all Iranians believe.